I think Koreans hate that "Are you Chinese?" questions or "Are you Japanese?"
I don't know words exactly, but I think you shouldn't talk to Koreans too much about politics in Asia because it's really, really strong issue. So it's not good to like say, why do you hate Japan or why do you hate North Korea? They didn't do anything to you, because foreigners don't really know exactly how Koreans feel. So I think it's best not to talk too much or tell them how to think about Asian country issues, because that's a really tough thing to talk about.
If you are younger, you have to be careful and you have to keep in mind that you have to use 존댓말 instead of 반말. I guess like it doesn't always work, because like some Koreans that are interested in like talking to foreigners, they would be okay with you saying something like 아니면 가자. But like some of them are just like, I don't know you, like you're younger than me, why would you say that?
You should not say for an elder man 안녕. So one day I went to eat kimbap, and at that restaurant I said the owner like 안녕, and that was a quite bad experience for me because the owner got a little angry, and he said something in Korean which I didn't understand, but I felt the anger in him, and I realized the fact that they have their own like virtues and traditions in which they respect the elders.
So if I have some basic tips, for Americans especially, I feel like Americans abroad get a bad rap, but be really mindful of the culture and don't like talk really loud like this. I feel like wherever you go, you always see Americans talking really loudly and being obnoxious.
Especially on the subway or in any other public places, because especially the old people here will hate you and they will tell you on the spot to be quiet or get off the subway. So that has happened to me before. I would not recommend you to do the same.
When I was with my Iranian friend, she just put tops and shorts, and one Korean 아줌마, 할머니, just told my friend that it's better to not use these tops and shorts like this because it's like 보기 짜증나다고 하셨어요.
You don't have to tip your waiter or waitress. Keep your money. And if a guy is going to tell you 같이 놀자, don't misunderstand and think that he's playing around with you. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It just means let's just go out and have fun.
The driving system is completely different, so I would definitely be careful, be wary of that. Just in case there's motorbikes that go everywhere. We in the UK, the motorbikes are not allowed to drive on the pavement where people walk. They're not allowed to. But in Korea, it happens, so the motorbike can come from anywhere. So you have to be really careful if you ever drive in Korea as well.
Don't hold soju in your hand and drink from the bottle because it makes foreigners look really bad, and it's just not a cool thing to do. But most foreigners do it anyway.
Koreans really like to look young. So if someone asks you, well, how old do I look? And you say something that's like way above their actual age, they will be really mad at you. Like if they're 23 and you say, 30, then you have one friend less. So yeah, I actually also sometimes, with the people I work with, they would ask me, well, how old do I look? And you're like, obviously, it's like 40. But you're like, no, I can't say that. So you're like, 32? And they're like, oh no, don't say that. But they're like smiling like this. You're like, well done.
No, my life has been super easy here. Actually, right before I came to Korea, I got hit by a car. So I hit the car so hard, I broke their windshield. And the driver was completely at fault. I'm still in litigation for that. So my life in the US was shit like that happened all the time. Here in Korea, I always have an external battery pack. Everything's on CCTV, so settlements happen super quickly if I ever got in an accident. I have Google Translate. My life has been super easy. I love it.
I was going for an event, and I was getting late. and I had to take this bus, otherwise I would have been a half an hour late. It was an intercity bus. When I got on the bus, the driver, I looked at I punched my card, and I looked at the driver, and it was no cash. So, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, he's like, you can go and sit in the back, it's okay. He was like, 괜찮아요, 괜찮아요, 괜찮아요. So I just said, and I think so it was a half an hour bus, but the driver didn't say anything. When I came off, like I was coming off, and I said thank you in Korean, like 감사합니다. So the driver was like 감사합니다, and he was smiling, and it was quite like good for me. But it was an emergency situation, yeah, and the driver helped me a lot, and I'm quite thankful for that.
So I was taking a bus and we were on the highway, and suddenly this bus crashed into another bus, and I was sitting almost in the very front of the bus, and my whole face like slammed against the seat in front, and it was really bad. Like everyone in the bus had to go to the emergency room immediately, and at that time I didn't have a phone, I didn't speak Korean, I had nothing. I had no friends, nothing, no one to call. And so yeah, that was pretty hard, and I ended up with this like really bruised face, and my teeth like kind of like, you know, a part came off, and like blood everywhere. So that was a tough beginning, but I learned a few really cool medical terms in Korean right from the start. And so yeah, that kick-started my Korean learning.
I have been, but not for bad reasons. Fortunately, again, I did not have the reason to go there, but there was this program, volunteering program in Gangnam offered for foreigners. And I think that was a really good opportunity for us to kind of get to know a bit about the rules and the laws of Korea, because nobody's teaching us, and maybe sometimes we can just make mistakes and we are not even aware that it's a mistake and get in trouble.
I think in Korea, the police station is not that much scary if I want to compare with US or in Iran. I think the Korea's atmosphere in police station is much better.
Okay, so with Korean people, you have if you have like a girl and you're very close, you have lots of skinship, or it's okay, right? You know, hugging and everything like that. But if you see a stranger and, you know, you try to help them out, I think sometimes I feel like it's bad to touch them. But for me in the States, we like to help people, and even if, you know, you don't know that person, you always like help pick them up, etc. So you're touching them, but in Korea, I feel like it's a bad thing. It's, you know, it's like, it's too strange or it's uncomfortable for the other person. Oh, you're helping me, you don't know me, why? You know, I think they feel like that.
There are always, like in everyday situations, there's always some sort of some misunderstandings that could happen. Things that I've had misunderstanding with my friends about is usually about plans that we make. And if I say, I don't know if I can come to like, if they invite me somewhere, I don't know if I can go, so I say I will try to make it. But I think a lot of my Korean friends think that that means I will come. So I've had a few cases with my friends where my friends have told me, if you couldn't come, just say you can't come. But for me, if I say I can't come, it just means no. But try and, you know, I will try and come is like in the middle. I've had that a few times, actually, yeah.